Well, I'm very excited to be here today. Welcome, everyone, to an awesome panel discussion that we have featuring Lisa and Jesse, the brilliant authors behind How You Leave Them Feeling book collection. So I'm thrilled to have you back, and thank you both so much for joining us today. So, how are you both? And are you excited to join in today to dive
Yes, of
in?
course we are.
We're
Woo-hoo.
super excited because we have Adriana today.
Yes.
Yeah. I know this is going to be fun. I love to
But you,
do these.
you know what I like best about having Adriana today? Because the last time we got a chance to be in front of you, it was good, but we only heard the voice. Now
We
you
get
got
to see the full package.
Well, not just the full package. She's got her Jerry curl done.
Yes, I often get it to where they're like, oh my gosh, I finally get to see you in person. So I am more of an introvert. I'll be very honest in that. And a lot of our, audience knows that. So it's always funny when I hear them say it's just a reoccurring thing. But I think it's fun because I get to play multiple roles. When I'm up here in the front and in the camera, I get to show you a different part of me. When I'm behind the scenes, you get to see that, the other part where it's like systematized and just working with a team. So it's a lot of fun to always show different sides of ourselves.
Yeah, behind the scenes, you're a science girl.
Exactly.
You're the female version of Rain Man.
I love it. I love that movie. That's a great
Me
movie.
too.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I want to jump into this. This is something that's a little bit different, and I don't know that we've necessarily touched on it. Maybe you've had some moments where you kind of dropped hints, but there's something pretty amazing that you both have been working on. So I hear that you're releasing a journal for How You Leave Them Feeling. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what to expect?
Well, let me start that off because I think it'd be good to bring the premier person in, which is actually not myself, it's Lisa. Uh, the How You Leave Them Feeling book that you're talking about with the journal. This is the third How You Leave Them Feeling edition, and so we actually call it a collection. It's your foundation for inspiring love and relationship, and this is the third in the collection of How You Leave Them Feeling. So the first two books of How You Leave Them Feeling were published, and there is no workbook to go with them. It would have been phenomenal, but when you author in a book. Yeah, if those of you that have authored books that are listening to this, it is a serious journey.
Yes.
And those of you that haven't, too, that's why you haven't done it, because it's a serious journey. So it didn't come to me. Well, Lisa had the idea after we released this for a year, there's some unbelievable systems, tools, and processes in here and exercises that we recommend, and we send them to the website so they can download them. Well, Lisa got the idea, we should have a workbook that goes along with, so they can just have it right here with them. And so she's going to show you, she's got a little space over there, but this is the first draft, a manuscript for the workbook that Lisa took the lead. We call it first chair, second chair, meaning she's the one in charge. Mm-hmm. She took the first chair to draft this and bring this from a blank sheet of paper to what you see now. What is it? 205 pages?
Yes. So we're calling it a companion workbook and journal, and it's going to be interactive.
Love it.
And Lisa gave me the privilege to be able to edit it while she was doing all the building of it. And it's you tell them about the journey. You had to probably live.
Well, one thing that I did to make the time was we created Saturday silence. Every Saturday, whatever time you got up, it was silent at least until noon or 1. And if I needed more time and felt like writing more, it would be until 6 p.m. that day. And that's really, you work differently when you're in silence, and because you know that nobody else is going to come in and bother you. So you can really roll up your sleeves and get stuff done. And, people that had read the book said, I love the book. I love the exercises, and my husband will not go through another chapter until he finishes each exercise. But rather than, like Jess said, send them to the website to download these forms, now everything is contained within the workbook itself, so that you can go back and refer to it as if you're working with a team, because it's not just about husband and wife, it's about teams too. We're doing book clubs with banks, with other companies. And once they realize the concepts that are within the book, they're like, oh my gosh, our team could really benefit from this concept. So it's just kind of evolving, if you will.
Yeah. And
And go ahead, Adriana, you first.
No, I was gonna say that's so true because everything after, especially after the pandemic, it switched. We went remote for a lot of these things that we do for trainings and whatnot. So what you created is probably more needed than it has ever been.
It's so true. And I want to speak to that point you just said. First, I want to say Lisa said something when she was speaking about her building of this companion workbook, and she talked about our half day of silence. It's a half day of silence that can go a little bit longer, like she says. And she mentioned that so people don't come in and bother you. Well, let me translate what she was intending to say was that so that your loved ones don't come in and politely ask permission to interrupt you. She didn't really mean bother you. So she meant so her train of thought isn't interrupted by somebody else's what's important to someone else.
Exactly.
I just wanted to clean that up for the listeners. That's all.
It's like, let's give both perspectives of how we
Absolutely.
Yeah. And
So-
then
go ahead.
Well, then you were talking about the power of the timing of this. Interesting to hear you say that because not that we need to keep having a big, long COVID conversation, but when COVID hit, let's just say most of the world panicked. Okay. I can't say all. I have no statistics to back that up, but most of the world didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And people that were used to, going to a day job or a business, they were out of their house minimum 8 to 10 hours a day between drive time and doing the work and then driving home or whatever. So their waking hours with their family was maybe
1 hour, 2 hours tops.
1 to 3, maybe 4 at the max, but usually 1 to 3. And now it's 24/7. People didn't know how to be with each other because they're not used to being with each other that much with nothing else to do or nothing to break it up other than what was on the television and this sort of things like that. So Lisa and I, since we speak from the stage as part of our business, we do executive coaching, personal professional development coaching, and we do live programs from the stage, whether it's keynotes or workshops or trainings. Well, now we can't get on a plane. So that was 50% of our income. We did not panic. We did not panic. We sat down, we had a 15-minute conversation, and we based it on on the alphabet using only one letter. 3 times. We called it a AAA concept. We wanted to measure our attitude about the world and us and ourselves. We wanted to see what we needed to adjust based on conditions and what we needed to adapt to based on things outside of our control. So it was attitude, adjust, adapt. That's it.
And we talk about that in the book too.
That's it. That's all. That's all we did. And inside of 15 minutes, we both said, we got this. Lisa converted our standard office where I have 300 to 400 books in the background. You have the books in the background. So when people see you there, you look smart because you got all these books in the back. They don't know if you read all the books. I did read all the books, but we wiped all that out. We got rid of the cabinets. We gave the cabinets to our neighbor. Lisa jumped online. He says, does anyone want any self-help motivational books? 2, 3, no, you had quite a few people, but she gave them to
Up and coming coach.
Yeah, she split them between 2 people. We gave away like 400 books, and she turned it into a virtual office. And do you know what happened to our lives when we had that AAA concept? Lisa came up with the idea shortly after that to convert the office. Guess what do you think happened to our lives in our business from doing that? From not being able to get on a stage?
Probably almost 10x the amount, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened because there was such a need because people were in silos or they were working from home and didn't know how to work from home. They needed us then more than ever to bring their teams together and teach them how to work together in that environment.
Yeah. So you basically not only did you teach it, but you used it. And that's important to show and explain that you are having live experiences, and like that's how you created this book. So it's the best testimony is that you're able to show a perfect example in like one of the craziest times in this, within however many centuries. But I wanted to jump into something that I think is pretty profound when you're actually reading your book. It's a piece of your foreword, actually. And when I read it, I was like, it sets the tone and the stage for what you just said. This is more than just your intimate relationships, but your work relationships. So I'm going to read a quick piece if that's okay.
Yeah, do it.
Okay, so it says you'll likely encounter ideas and concepts within this book that you are already familiar with. Remain open to tie those ideas and concepts together with the newly shared ideas. You will move through chapters focusing on trusting your gut instincts, building relationship equity, creating unbreakable relationships, and more. I highly recommend that you move beyond just consuming the knowledge from this book. Be mindful of how to put the author's recommended action steps into practice as you seek to navigate through the minefields of life while embracing and forever adding love and care into your relationships that matter most to you. I mean, they did an amazing and incredible job for you both. I mean, they set the tone, and it's what encompasses your book,
Yes.
and what the prime example of what you both just shared. So I just had to share that because I wanted everyone to hear it who hasn't had either they purchased the book and they haven't read it yet, because that happens. We get busy, or they're tempted and they're like, I want to get this book, but there's something that's holding me back. So I'm hoping that really helps them to understand that even though things seem simple, we still overcomplicate
all the time. All the time. And to your point, Edgar, that was a good read that you did, and I appreciate that. It was so powerful. And it reminds me of the how you live and feeling concept if simplified. If someone hasn't read the book and they're just now hearing of the concept how you live and feeling really basically, if you break it out in a nutshell, is to leave to have the tools, the systems, tools, and processes to learn how to leave everything and everyone better than you found them, just by thinking about the concept of how am I going to leave this person feeling? How am I going to leave this situation feeling if I don't do, or if I do X, Y, or Z? So just that simple concept, if you just think about it, even if you don't read the book, it's going to change what you do. And then what Lisa's idea was to come with this would be the companion workbook. Well, this is to make it much easier for you to put into practice and highly customize the how you live and feeling concept to fit you in your life and your world.
And not only that, but when you read the book, you can just open up to the table of contents, and wherever you're at in your life, pick that chapter.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you have to start with one and two follows one. They're not in any consecutive order. Whatever resonates with you, you can pick up the workbook, you can pick up the book and go directly to that exercise that's going to get you immediate help and immediate relief in your life.
I agree. And I actually tend to do that when I read books.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just because we're wired to go to what makes us feel comfortable, right?
Right.
And so when you look at that table of contents, it actually provides a level of comfort right off the bat. Okay, I know what I'm getting into. And it's so funny, but it's not really like obviously novels that I do that with, but books like these. So I love that you're giving the reader permission, like, hey, it's okay to do this, because sometimes we need that.
Yeah.
Right.
We rely on that. So I really want to know, what are some extraordinary things that have been happening for you both since writing this secondary, or supplementary, I should say, piece to your book? Like, what do you feel has been some of the biggest changes that you've seen since creating it?
Well, that's a broad question. We could talk about changes for us personally, or changes for the business, or changes in respect to the book. The first one that comes to my mind, and Lisa likely has more. We have this friend that Lisa initiated a friendship with, and we both have a friendship. Lisa gets to spend more time with her. Her name is Mindy Kerms. Mindy Kerms was so moved by the book. Lisa and I, we were at an event, and Lisa,
one of the book tours.
No,
not that one.
No, we were at an event, and Lisa and Mindy had not been as in touch as they normally were, but she wanted to sit at our table. And she knew that we had launched the book. And so, but she had never used audible.com, but the book we also have recorded on audible.com. So I sat there and I took her phone, and it wasn't really easy. It wasn't user friendly. And I found a way to get it launched on her phone, and she couldn't wait to listen to it. She started listening to it right away. And Lisa and I are narrating as the authors. We're narrating we didn't pay someone to do it. We did it ourselves. So it was even more personalized. She was so fired up and moved by, before she even finished the book, I'll pass the ball to Lisa. Lisa will tell you what she did and what that's turned into so far.
She is the relationship builder at a local bank here. And she went to the president of the bank.
And we can say the bank.
Lexicon Bank.
Yep.
And she went to the president, Stacy, and she said, I want our team to have a book club with this book. and we did 3 sessions. So there's 12 chapters. And we roughly did 3 chapters a month. And by the end of it, they're like, oh my gosh, you guys, these concepts we need with our leadership team, we need the executive team, we need 3 different levels. How can we work together? So just from the general notion alone of just reading the book, what it spins off into after that is the sky's the limit.
But wait, chamois. Do you know that chamois?
Yep.
But wait,
There's more?
there's more. They bought, at the time, they were the largest single purchase of the book. They bought 85 copies of this book. Okay. Before I go further, but wait, before I go any further, do you know how many books the average book typically sells when it's published in its market? Do you know how many books that author normally sells?
So it spans, but like around 250 a year is like an average from what I'm.
How about 100 books? Or well, I'll go to your two. Not a year for the life of the book.
Oh, the life of the book.
And they bought 85 copies. But wait.
For their customers.
But wait.
More?
Yes, but wait. Then they got a hold of Lisa, and they're doing this inaugural event celebrating their 5 years being in business. They invited us to be the authors. They bought another 100 books. And then they said, please keep us on order for us to order 50 books at a time when we run out.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And that event is coming up next week, actually,
Yes.
for their the executive and some of the VIP clients that they have.
Now, Adrian, I'm not going to do any more ShamWows. That's it.
You're good. I love it. I love the personality dynamic. I love how you guys you're amazing together. So I love seeing that. It makes me really happy because anyone can write a book, but when you write it successfully, when you're joint authoring something and you have that much passion from both sides, that's what makes
that makes it amazing. Watch me toss the ball. Tell her about the lady that picked up the book and read it literally full stop in one reading, turned it on to her husband, and what she said it did for their marriage.
Oh, she said, actually, I couldn't put the book down because it was fueling my soul for the nourishment that I needed for where our relationship was at the time. She said that book did more for me than 10 years of marriage therapy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on.
She said, my husband's reading it, but he won't advance another chapter until he finishes the exercises within that chapter. And the rest is history.
And this is not a slam against marriage counselors. They have a challenging job. There's no doubt about it. We've done couples coaching before.
Oh man,
we should raise our rate 5 times more than what we charge for couples coaching. Anyway, a whole nother story. So we're not putting down marriage counselors, but a lot of times in these sort of situations, it sort of stays stagnant. There's no movement, no advancement.
Life word, it stays kind of stuck in. How do you feel about that?
So that tells you something powerful. I've only been married for, I think it's about 6 years now. And when you're saying that they're moving forward, and the couple you're speaking of, I'm assuming has been married a lot longer. I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
So it means that what you both wrote, it works.
Yes.
Plain and simple, that's what it means to me.
And guess what, Adriana, you're so spot on. Not only does it work, we literally do. Mm-hmm. We practice what I don't like to use the word preaching, but practice what you preach.
Yeah.
Practice what you teach.
I like that better. Practice what you teach. We literally do this ourselves.
Yeah.
There's a concept called house rules. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
House rules came about because before Lisa and I came together, we both had other relationships. And I was in a very long-term relationship, 25 years. And when that relationship was ended, I had to take a look at myself in the mirror and not just blame everything on the other person. I had to probably be doing something that wasn't working either, but I didn't know what it was. And when I discovered what it was, when I got into the relationship with Lisa, I asked her, I said, let me share this concept with you. And if you don't like it, that's okay. And we don't have to do it. But if you do like it, it could be a game changer. Mm-hmm. I said, and some people don't like rules, that people don't like to follow rules. So you can call them house rules or house agreements. We use both. It's an agreement. I said, and how it works is each party has to have at least one house rule or house agreement, and nobody can have more than 3.
Hmm.
90 days, we need to check in on each other to see how we're doing on each other's house rules. And what they're designed to do is for however Lisa needs to have a way of being or doing or living, it is non-negotiable.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be this way. The biggest problem with a lot of couples and breakdowns in relationships is they don't talk to each other. They don't share their wants and needs. They expect for you to
Read their mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you don't read their mind, they're pissed off. You don't get, well, you never told them.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. So one of Lisa's house rules is
In the morning, I don't like anyone coming at me for at least the first hour.
Mm-hmm.
To just set my intentions, do my daily affirmations, do my gratitude list, do my prayers, set my intention, how my day's going to roll. And after I've got that part done, then you can come into my space and then we can have a conversation. But it interrupts the flow of my day. If you come in and then I'm out of sync and out of flow for the day, and it gets in the way. The whole day doesn't flow as easily because I'm not starting it the way that I intended to.
Can I tell you the biggest problem, Adriana? Guess what you think the biggest problem with that house rule is?
Well, I'm guessing you like to speak to her, right? Like you're coming out with a lot of ideas. So it seems like that. I don't know, but maybe you have a lot to share with her.
You're really close, smarty pants.
Almost 3 for 3. Okay.
People that don't have that conversation about house rules,
Mm-hmm.
Lisa would never tell me this because her personality and character, she doesn't like conflict or confrontation, and she's got this amazing cover.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what Lisa's thinking unless she wants you to know what she's thinking.
Exactly. Yep.
She has a cover, so I wouldn't even know I'm pissing her off, and I'm just having a conversation. Yep. I would never know, and she wouldn't say, but inside she's rah, rah, rah. I wouldn't know.
And then resentment builds up, right? The repression.
Yes.
And then that turns down a different slippery slope of a road.
And Lisa's not a big talker. She has a lot to say. She has powerful things to say, but she doesn't use a lot of words to say them. She's brief and tight and short. And she really doesn't like saying a lot or talking a lot. So, and I like to know what's going on. So one of my house rules is, if Lisa's in a space, whether somebody's irritated her or she's frustrated or she's not feeling well or she's just in an odd mood or whatever it is, do not make me read your mind.
Mm-hmm.
If you need time and space, take it. Just say, listen, you don't even need to get in a description. Listen, it's a rough time for me right now. I'm going to step out for a couple of hours. I'm going to take a drive for a few hours, or I'm going to take a half a day to take a walk, whatever. Speak up. Mm-hmm. She has the right to do whatever she wants to do, but don't make me guess what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Just say it. And you don't even have to give me the full description because, listen, I can talk to you about it later after I work some things out. But right now, I'm just not in the space. I need some long time. Okay, it's cool. See, people
it's so true. It's so
but
true.
Adriana, people don't have these conversations. Am I right or not?
You're 100% right. And I know because I've had to go through it. And luckily, I'll say, I always tell my husband, I'm like, look, I know you want to talk about something right now. Exactly what you said. I put the precedence ahead. I'm like, look, I'm not ready right now.
Yeah.
So can we put a pin in it and we'll come back to it? He's like, okay, no worries. And I found that like it really we really have to be better with communication, respect within those boundaries, because we don't want to come off rude or anything like that. That only makes them feel worse.
Correct.
And it's not that they did anything wrong. So I love it. Again, I'm loving this personal testimonies.
And Adriana, it's not about what you say. It's more about what they hear.
And how you leave them feeling.
I mean, you literally picked the perfect title for this book. I have a question about that. Was that like, did you just know that that's what it was going to be called? Or did you run into it once it became a repetitive? Okay.
Not at all. From the first book that was written 17 years ago, the first book, I was on a coaching session. I'm going to give a Reader's Digest version because Lisa's heard the story many times, but it's a good story. The shortened version, I had a Canadian at the end of the conversation. He was the president of his company. He was kind of boxing around, beating up the person below him, the vice president. I was coaching both of them, and I was hoping to help him see that. and he kept talking over me, which that's not typical of Canadians to do. Americans talk over each other, but Canadians don't usually. And anyway, so I stopped talking, and it was literally nearly 40 minutes before he goes, "Are you still there?" I said, "Yes."
Wow.
He says, "Well, what do you think?" I said, "Well, I think if you want to create an incentive to get someone to do what you want or need them to do, it's all about how you leave them feeling."
Mm.
And then afterwards, I hung up the coaching session with him. And I said, "I got to get him that. He's got to get that. That's simple. He's a smart guy, but he's missing it." I've looked at 3 hours and I'm trying to find the book. I can't find the book. And I sit back and I go, "God, who can I get to write that book? I got to get someone to write that book for my client so I can get this book to my client." I go through 17 people and I go, "Holy smokes, I'm supposed to write that book."
There you go.
That's where the how you leave them feeling concept came, because someone highly intelligent missed the point of how he was leaving other people feeling that are important to him in his life.
It stemmed from mindfulness, right? I mean, your book is almost essentially mindfulness and how we're unaware of things and how it can be perceived, and just slow down, slow things down a little bit. Let's make it make sense. Let's make it practical. I love the title so much. Like it just clicks.
Yeah.
Common sense, common courtesy. Then what I did then is I said, you could try to sell this to publishers, but then if we sell it to publishers, then we have to ask their permission every time we want to write additional versions of the book or renditions of the book. So then I thought, I think I'm just going to self-publish. So right now we have chosen to self-publish because Lisa and I see there's probably another half a dozen to a dozen more in the collection of How You Live and Feeling. Anytime something sparks us that we think the world needs to hear and get that intelligence, we're going to team up and we're going to write another in the collection of How You Live and Feeling with a different subtitle that speaks exactly what we're writing about.
It's perfect. It actually leads me into my next question. So you ready?
Yep.
Yes.
This might be the last juicy one. So what is both of your goals, I should say, for the rest of this year for this collection and the journal?
Well, in October, we will be joining you on a Mexican Riviera cruise to share this intelligence with some of the authors. And when we get back from that, we are going to Thailand, which some friends of ours have built a business and they're going to be doing their soft opening. And their soft opening, we're going to team up with them and do a book launch in Thailand. And so we're ramping up to prepare for that and get this journal to print and printed and give them as Christmas gifts and all kinds of gifts.
And with any fortune from both of those and some additional planning and strategic perspectives that we're going to add to, we're hoping to add at least somewhere between a half a dozen and a dozen other clients that the decision makers in those companies are so moved by not just this book, but I don't have it in front of me, but the other book on personal professional development, that they see us on a constant flow of buying large volumes of this for their team, for their companies. In fact, PGA of America just bought, and it doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a start. PGA of America just bought 70 copies of book number 2, the second edition of How You Live and Feeling for Personal Professional Development. It's got a blue cover to it. And they just bought 70 of them. We're going to go and do a 2-hour keynote in Frisco, Texas for 150 of the top leaders in PGA of America.
That's amazing. I mean, all of it is amazing. Most individuals who are writing books barely get to do one of those things that you mentioned, and it maybe even to the level that you're doing it. So congratulations to you both. I love it.
But wait.
Do it, Jesse. Lisa, are you surprised right now?
Oh my God, he's got to shamu you just one more time, folks.
I love it.
Just one more time. Here he comes. Hurry up. We're running out of time.
Bam! Funky Finger Productions.
Awesome. It's so good.
I got that from In Living Color, by the way. It was a long, long time ago.
That was before she was
born. That was before you was. Bam! Funky Finger Productions. So this is book number 2, the second edition. So that's the one that the PGA picked up on. And who knows, maybe that gets to be something inside of their cycle that they get the value of it. And in fact, the senior director said they're going to ask the team to do a book club and a follow-up on this book after they do it there and turn it into something that they enroll the concept from the book into their everyday
And
life.
he wants me to do a workbook for this book too. So that's really what's on tap from now to the end of the year.
Yes. I mean, it's so much fun too. Like there's that side of you that almost feels like it's a mission and a purpose. And then there's when you love something so much, you get to have fun when you're doing it. So
Absolutely.
No, you're right, Adrian. And the people that are listening to this right now, this is unscripted, unrehearsed. They can tell that there's a flow happening here. Which, I mean, who's going to run off camera to go get another book? I already told you the color of the book. I didn't have to run off camera, but you're like, what the heck is he doing now?
exactly. Because you feel it. It's within you. So
It's
and
true.
it's speaking. So I just want you both to know, I don't know if Hannah's ever mentioned this yet, but she's been actually introducing the how I leave. Oh my goodness.
How you leave them
feel
feeling
leaving,
concept.
yeah, into all of our team meetings on a weekly basis. So the
Wow.
first week she didn't even like let us know that it was from the book. She just wanted to start it and like something brand new. And then when she's like, I want you all to know this is someone that we're working with and this is their book. It's incredible. And we're going to keep implementing it. And it's truly changed the dynamic of the team
Wow.
to the
Wow.
point where it's building more trust, better communication, and it's having them show up, and all of us show up, I would say, a lot better.
Okay, check it out.
Yay.
To Hannah's point, and thank you for sharing that. When the first book came out, and Lisa was reading the book, and she turned at the time her 10-year-old son onto it, and he was doing something, and Lisa did something, whatever, and he says, "Mom, well, how does that leave you feeling?"
Oh
Yes. In fact, they were going to write a How You Leave Them Feeling for teens.
that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Honestly, because they, oh my gosh, they need it. They need
Come
it.
on.
And for millennials. How about millennials? Millennials.
Everyone needs it, but when you can break it down for that demographic,
Yes.
it makes them feel heard. So,
But the cool thing would be good for me to team up with someone and co-write it, so we get their perspective with my recommendations, their perspective with their recommendations. So it's not just coming from some mature person; it's coming from someone that's one of them.
exactly. Well, I mean, if you're willing to share more about how they reach out to you, or if you're looking for applicants, do you want to share that? It's okay if it's a private.
Did you say looking for Africans?
No. If applicants.
Oh.
You're too funny.
That would be jesstalk.com, and that's JESSTALK, or lisalisten.com. And yeah, either one of those places, or Lisa by B. Ferrell on any of social media, Jessie Ferrell on any social media. You can find us, you can Google us, and we'll be there.
And I will be the African.
You're so funny. I love it. So we'll after this, we'll go in the comment section and share all of those exact ways they can find you. So I just want to thank you both so much for joining me today. It was such a privilege. You both are amazing. Thank you for being having an incredible panel discussion.
Thanks for being the hostess with the mostest.
Yes, and you have a wonderful sparkle and glow about you too. And I'm telling you, totally digging the Jerry curl.
Thank you. It's natural. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and I cannot wait for our next one. I'll talk to you all later. Bye, Lisa. Bye, Jessie. Have a great day.
Bye.
Take care.
Take care, Adrian.